Okay, great, great.
Uh, can you take
Let,
it?
yes, yes. I think now I can. All of you can
Uh,
share the screen.
yeah,
See
yeah,
this. Yes, thank you
yeah.
so much, Dr.
Dr.
Gaur, for giving me this opportunity. And before that, before starting, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Dr. Kaustav Padmapati. I'm a political scientist in that was my training, and I have a PhD in international relations in U.S. foreign policy from JNU. And currently, I teach at School of Liberal Studies in UPES, but I teach both in liberal studies and media, and I am also a Fulbright scholar and also a CCP fellow. And obviously, Dr. Gore has requested me to make a presentations on India-US relations. Actually, my field was mainly about my PhD was on Taiwan and China. Then I also changed my field of research basically, and now I mostly work on global politics. But of course, gender and media is one of my primary focus. But still, I thought I am a student of political science and also, and U.S. election is coming, so I made this preparation basically for focusing on the administrations in India-US relations, what actually happened. And actually, the Dr. Gore has requested me to focus from 2014 onwards. But I'll just mention little bit about on the history, but mostly I'll focus on the present. And all of you know, Prime Minister Modi is visiting to United States for taking part in the Quad Summit, and I think this is the appropriate time to discuss and evaluate the India-US relations, which is very, very important, very, very prominent for all of us. So you can see the title of my presentation is India-US Relations, New Possibilities and Challenges. Okay, so basically, when we talk about India-US relationship, and this is one of a very, very crucial relations that both the countries share, and and when we look out the 2024, it is continued to be characterized by strategic partnership, economic collaborations, and shared concerns. So India, if you look at the partnership, India has been always a working partner for United States. And these changes mainly started happening after post 1990 onwards, started from basically the Clinton administrations. But the president that really took us seriously was Richard Bush, the Bush Jr. So, US really, really recognizes us as an emerging power. And one of the counterbalance to that our neighbor, that is China, and some of the four core areas that we really, really find out that where both the countries uh, agree, or the main areas are, of course, appreciation of democracy, uh, then anti-terrorism, then institutional framework, and some collaborative agency exhibited by India in the international system. And it is very, very multidimensional. And I don't say that both are very, very they're smooth. There are challenges, areas like immigrations, trade, and geopolitical alignments. However, it is really a very, very important partnership. Then, I'd like to focus how United States basically look at us, uh, how it behaves with us. So, first of all, as I said, it recognizes India as one of the fastest growing major economies. And of course, US is a capitalistic country, so it continuously look for a market for its for conducting trade. So India emerged as a what we call a market for expanding middle class, and it also showed defense and power capabilities. And also India is also a place that is really doing well in terms of science and technology. So when we look out some of the polls that is done by some of like important institutions like Gallup, annual World Affairs Survey says that India is perceived by Americans as the sixth favorite nation in the world, and with 77% holding as a favorable view of the country in 2022, and which is even above Israel. So all of you know, like US has a special relationship with Israel, but India even ranks above according to. Then another poll by Chicago Council survey reportedly found that around 42% of the Americans find India to be necessary partner with whom United States must strategically cooperate, and another 21% call India as an ally. So definitely, uh, you know, uh, quite positive if we look at the surveys and all, because both the countries are democracy. And also, all of you know that the venue for strategic and international affairs have shifted from Europe to Asia Pacific, mainly to the Asian continent. And US really recognizes India as a one of the prominent country of Asia. So here, uh, both the government launched the strategic partnership in 2005, along with a framework for long-term defense cooperations that now includes large-scale joint military exercises and significant defense trade. It also, India, features among the prominent element in America's rebalancing strategy and framework. And also another thing that I think many of you are from political science and IR background, that is the concept of Asia Pacific become Indo-Pacific. And there, the bringing, it happened because of the US interest that bringing into light the strategic importance of Indian Ocean in America's approach to the region. This is the newfound collaborative approach has spilled over into strategic and defense partnership among many other areas of enduring cooperations. Now, if we look at the current government, it has worked both the prominent political parties of the United States, Republicans and Democrats, and the relation is really stable. It is not something like one particular party is closer to us. We have agreement with, even if we have agreement and disagreement with Republicans, we also have similar with Democrats. So if we rank the presidents, and as I said, like first that George W. Bush, which was very controversial president, known for the war on terrorism and his war to the Islamic world, was an extremely successful. And when he visited, even when Manmohan Singh that point of time said that you are one of the most popular president in India, despite his background, because one of the biggest push that was done that point of time was Indo-US nuclear deal, despite a lot of oppositions from the rest of the world. In fact, both Obama and Hillary Clinton were against it. However, it ultimately happened, and that point of time was even India was criticized for its controversial positions because of the Kashmir issue. But still, it continued. When Obama came to power, and he first decided like this is a very South Asia is a very problematic region, so we are going to appoint a special envoy to Pakistan and India. And that really made India very upset. But however, they only appointed a special envoy to Pakistan who did not interfere in the India's activities. And of course, that era also we saw a lot of positive. Obama visited 2 times India, and he even invited Dr. Singh for stay as the first state visitor to the administration in 2009. Then, when we look at Trump again, very controversial president for the rest of the world. And however, a lot of criticism, but however, he was very critical about Pakistan and China, to our neighbors, and although he had controversial positions regards immigrants and all, despite that, lot of positive economic cooperations during the Trump era. Even the Quad, that was basically given a new uh, source of energy during the Trump era. And he joined visiting Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in various places. So this is like a little bit of background about how we are. There are ups and downs, but still it is quite stable. So when we look at the parameters, about what really connects about India and US relationship. So according to US State Department, the relationship are basically a commitment to democracy. And second, a commitment to uphold a rule-based international system. So obviously, United States takes democracy very seriously, right? And India is one of the most prominent and stable democracy of South Asia. You can see all our neighbors know where democracy is successful. You even recently saw the crisis in Bangladesh. Every country's try to achieve democracy, but whether it is Pakistan, whether it is Sri Lanka, whether it is Nepal, everywhere somehow democracy suffered, but in India it survived. So that is really a big step for the United States to connect. And then other key pillars of our relationship are, that is according to many defense experts, that is our defense and security, economics, global cooperations, people to people tie, and shared values. Now, definitely, I have to jump to the current government. And if we talk about the Prime Minister Modi, who worked with basically three presidents, a big development we can see during the Biden era. So in June 2023, Prime Minister Narendra Modi joined an elite lead of leaders like Winston Churchill and Nelson Mandela, who have been invited to address the United Congress twice. So only these people, like who are global leaders, they had only, addressed the US Congress 2 times. And the US still remains essential to Prime Minister Modi's vision of India's radical transformation. So when we talk about the radical transformation, it is about bringing science and technology, space innovations, not only limited to the economics as well. So a lot of focus has been given, and US is the forefront of this sort of technology. And connecting with that, you can see in my PPT that the success of his many ambitious plan for India's economic transformation from Make India to Digital India hinges upon the great cooperation with the United States. So even making it much more easier for to implement this sort of plans. So India-US partnership under Modi's leadership is the strongest according to the many foreign policy experts. So if we look at the chemistry between Modi and the Biden, like many of you may agree that it was said that Modi was much more friendlier with Trump. and they are like quite good friends. But also, if we look at the Modi and Biden, if we refer to the recent article from Rudra Chaudhary from the Carnegie India, what he says, India-US ties have undergone a second transformation. The first was between 2001, when George W. Bush came to power, I mentioned already, and the end of the Donald Trump presidency. That period deserves a book of its own right. Indeed, many have been written. Basically, referring these are one of the best presidents for the, and other two from Republican Party, and this one's from the from Democratic Party. One of the biggest achievement that we can definitely say, in January 2023, the National Security Advisor on both sides inaugurated the Indian-US Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology, ICET. So under this cooperation, as I mentioned already, this is a really, really diverse area. They are focusing on latest technology like artificial intelligence, quantum technology, cyber, 5G and 6G, biotech, semiconductor, defense and space. So artificial intelligence is like the hot topic now. All over world, so much of interest going on artificial intelligence, cyber, and obviously 5G has also came to India. Now, moving from strategic relation to defense and security. Crucial area with, this is another extremely crucial area. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So this is another very crucial area of cooperation. So defense ties are even deeper than have in the last 4 years. A new avenue of defense cooperation was initiated through India-US Defense Acceleration Ecosystem, or INDUS Act, bringing together different startups from the two countries. So startups are big now in India as well. So this is like a cooperation for the startups. A key supply agreement was also signed in 2024. And, so these like special helicopter like C-70, C-130J, and are changing capabilities for the India. So these are also brought. The US Army has reached out the Indian defense firms to produce everything from nuts and bolts to cartridges to the artillery. So that means it's a lot of effort of making India and all. So in the recent past, both countries have signed several agreements that seek to enhance potential mutual support and collaboration opportunities. So what are the important, that other important collaboration? So ICET, Defense Innovation Technology Cooperation Mechanism. Bilateral cooperation also continues to counter terrorism and intelligence sharing. So I already mentioned another very, very significant area is anti-terrorism measures. So long-standing working, so in a particular through long-standing counter-terrorism joint working group and Homeland Security Dialogue was also reinvigorated in 2022. Other security fora include maritime security dialogue, defense space dialogue, cyber dialogue. So almost every field, the dialogue, it happened. The two countries have also launched a new innovative bridge that will connect US and India defense startups. So startups were also the focus, and both of them are liberal democracies. So startups were given much more, because entrepreneurship is given so much of importance in both the countries. So it has even expanded to the startup area. Now comes to the economy and trade. So obviously, hope all of you remember that, the first thing that really interested United States to India is it's a market. It's a market for globalization. It is a market for American companies. So It's one of the largest trading partner of India. And American companies has invested almost 60 billion, and Indian companies have also invested 40 billion. The two countries also launch a new innovation bridge that already I mentioned. Indian economy features a large middle class that has driven its job. So obviously, the middle class and the emerging Indians, basically cities like Gurgaon, you can see in uh, Hyderabad, then Bangalore. These are the like the faces, and lot of American companies are there giving employment. They are also almost every American food chain. So the Indian middle class is really, really, providing a lot of opportunity for the American business. And another areas are, of course, artificial intelligence, semiconductor supply chains, and telecommunications. These are so some again. Now I'll focus on the important changes that happen during the time of and Biden administrations. Uh, Industrial cooperation of roadmap was happened in 2023, and a 2024 report by American Chambers of Commerce in India suggested that nearly 50% of Indians' defense export over the last 5 years have been a part of the global value chain. Um, then teaming agreements have been announced to explore the setting up of maintenance, repair, and overall facilities. Several American companies have since announced fresh investment in India while it comes to semiconductor assembly, because they hope all of you know they have a lot of businesses where even moved from China to India, or it is decided because of the differences. On September 9, 2024, the US State Department announced a new partnership. This is very, very new in September only. New partnership with India to explore semiconductor supply chain opportunities involving a comprehensive assessment of India's existing semiconductor ecosystem. India is known for its ecosystem already to enhance on that. Now comes to the Quad, and again, I already mentioned that the Prime Minister Modi is going for the meeting. So what is a Quad? Quad is an informal strategic group with the focus on the Indo-Pacific, and there are 4 countries: United States, Australia, Japan, and India. So there are certain criticism that that India is regarded as the weakest link in Quad, largely because its policy actions do not align with the expectation of the traditional external balancing and formation of a firm military alliance. However, President Joe Biden showed special interest in Quad, and he attended the summit level meeting in March 2021. And so the next is happening in Wilmington meeting, will be the 6th in the series, where already the United States hosted the 4. It reflects that like the US hosting that meeting, that reflects that US and the Biden have attached to this the revival of this particular. Um, it's not an official grouping, but whatever way. The next summit will now take place in India in 2025 again, and forcing to incoming team also to focus early in terms of outcomes and deliverable from an Indian visit. Indo-Pacific, another extremely important area for both the countries, because it is a multicultural and a multipolar region, accounting for nearly 60% of the world GDP. And as I said, the importance of world affairs have shifted from Euro to Asia Pacific, now Indo-Pacific. So it is an extremely important strategic as well as economic area for both the countries. It is also significant repository of marine resources, both living and non-living. So in 2022, the Indo-Pacific strategy of the US, talks of continuing to build a strategic partnership which the United States and India to work together and through regional grouping to promote stability in the South Asia. So one of the biggest, um, among the among the critical circle, one of the main region that Indo-Pacific came out, it was basically to look at the to basically to counter the China's aggressive behavior in Taiwan and South China Sea. So that's why both the countries and including the other countries, their focus is really on lot of important collaborative efforts in the Indo-Pacific. It also now it is a very multidimensional. It includes health, space, cyberspace, economic and technological cooperations, and contribute to a free and open Indo-Pacific. That is, both the countries are committed to. Even India is among the 14 countries involved in the US-led four-pillar Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity, IPEF, the Biden administration's first major trade and economic initiative in the Indo-Pacific. So you can clearly see that Biden has given so much of importance. Now, Quad is very much central to the Indo-Pacific policy. So the March 2023 Quad ministerial statement include a language of opposing any unilateral actions that seeks to change the status quo. So these are the organizations, these are the groupings that basically, opposes any unilateral actions because uh, China's behavior was very aggressive in South China and all. India again and again focuses on a rule-based order. So all four Quad leaders met again in Japan in May 2023 and identified 10 key areas of the Quad cooperation. I already mentioned about that. They also issued a vision statement outlining four Quad principles focused on prosperity and stability in the Indo-Pacific in accordance with international law, respect for the centrality of the regional institutions, and the practical Quad agenda to deliver economic and social value. So there are other important regional groupings that US is always focuses on regional grouping because ultimately, somehow the realism exists in some form or the other. So definitely, constantly, US looks at allies for its to share and to express its form of its leaderships. So Biden administration national security agenda, which prioritizes maintaining and enduring a competitive edge over China, counts the Quad among a let us work up strong, resilient, and mutually reinforcing relationship that prove democracies can deliver for their people and the world. And India is the only Quad member that shares a land border with China and only want to operate outside of the US-led alliance system. India has never formally part of any US-led alliance system. The NSS also include a new grouping, which United States, India, Israel, and UAE in this latest war that is mentioned in the national security strategy. So democracy is another, I'm mentioning again and again that telling again and again, democracy and democratic cooperation is one of the main areas that ultimately US cannot abandon India because it's a democracy, and every year every president, their agenda is to promote democracy. So that's why over the last 2 decades, the shared democratic values and principles between both the countries significantly contributed towards development of a strong partnership between the two democracies. And it has always been a prominent factor for these cooperations, although there are some criticism that that US has not recognized our full potential as a democratic country, and their rankings and all India comes really low. However, that Many in US perceives that India is an island of democracy in the region surrounded by authoritarian China, Afghanistan, Iran, Russia, Pakistan, all according to them very, very problematic country. And China is undoubtedly is becoming more and more authoritarian. I have to say that under Xi Jinping, authoritarian, homophobic, sort of bringing all sort of negative and that sort of leadership or that sort of policies to the world, and it becoming more and more what we call very, very autocratic tendencies. So out of that, India is really a ray of hope. And also we have to mention when we talk about the Indo-US relations in the diaspora. Now, all of you know Kamala Harris is becoming such a prominent candidate now, and she has the Indian origin, Indian, or she has an Indian connections. So suddenly, this India origins diaspora, 5 million only, become a very crucial in this country, and they are like among the most successful diasporas, and who have important positions in policies, administrations, and business, and with an Indian origin African American candidate in running for the president. So we cannot even underestimate the importance of Indian Americans. However, everything is not, as I said, smooth. We had differences among both the countries. First is, of course, that India and United States have been tested recently by their differing approaches to development in Afghanistan, especially the post, uh, uh, exit of the United States. Afghanistan is one of the another. Then Russia-Ukraine conflict and US allegations regarding the involvement of Indian official in the planned assassination of Indian origin US citizens. So this is Canada already we have deteriorated very much the relations. So these are problem areas. Then again, so much of criticism about their favoritism during the time of Cold War era and later to the Pakistan, because Pakistan has always been in one of their major buyers of American defense products. So it happened again in September 2022. United States approved 450 million, a package for F-60 aircraft with Pakistan, which actually, which is essentially has for use against India. So this development was really, really received very negatively in India. And apart from that, since I am also teachers at media, so lot of negative reviews about India's democracy, about violation of the right, Kashmir issue, riots, communalism, and suddenly, if you look at the media, that there's a little bit of U-turn, and like India was ranked was like a partially free democracy, but after the 2024 elections, and when like they saw the results, many American newspapers and many American writers have a U-turn, and they said like, that we can still see a hope for democracy in India, and it is one of the best conducted elections. So there's a no consistent view about that, and many even Indian journalists and scholars pointed out like they are very much into pointing out violation of human rights and communalism. What about them? They don't even feature many of similar activities in the country. So those are some of the other. So, definitely, despite the close cooperations, that India made it very clear that it will not play a second fiddle in the US geopolitical designs. It must be noted that India has always abstained from any talk of joining camps in the emerging power competition. We never took any side, and not even like we are not part of any military grouping like NATO and all. So, as an emerging power, India aims for its own geostrategic sphere influence like other great powers rather than resign itself to a regional role as a balancing power. So, when we almost, I am done, like when we look at the future, that encourage, however, though encouraged by the overall progress in bilateral relationship, India has now signed so many agreements. It is really diverse now, and both the countries launch I2U2, a food security and renewable energy cooperation agreement, also involves Israel and UAE and India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor, which aims to strengthen connectivity through Gulf and Israel. And today, US needs a democratic, economically powerful India to craft a stable regional order in the Indo-Pacific. And India too requires a solid partnership with US if it is. So both the countries need each other. We cannot abandon. And here I mostly focused on these areas. There's a peoples to peoples cooperations as well. Indians are the second highest uh, among the students in US universities, and the influence of American soft power is significant on our recent populations, because I know my students, they cannot stay without Netflix, Amazon, all are based in America. So US, the soft power or the cultural imperialism is very strong on Indian new populations, especially the new generations, and we cannot live without Hollywood movies. We cannot live without American popular music. So definitely that part, cultural and peoples to people, could be a different presentations, obviously, that I'm not going to talk about much. So my last slide. According to the Observer, despite India's assertive neutrality and hesitations of the US line on issues crucial to Western interests like Ukraine, India still is very popular in the United States. I can tell from my example. I was there for 1 year as a student of PhD. They will, whenever you will say that you are from India, they will show extreme interest on our food culture. At least they will say we'd like to visit India. They will not like say that, they are very at that point of time, when I was there in 2011 and 12, the the China fever was at the height everywhere. Everybody was studying Chinese and all. So in all the Asian centers, the India was like not that significant, but still there. But now it has completely changed. The South Asians study on India, the scholarships, the cooperations has increased manyfold in when we say. And so according to the this critics or the supporters, at the heart of India-US ties not only learn on the big Indian market or to counter a common enemy like China, the core of this relationship is based on primary shared values, which is definitely democracy. So now it has become a global strategic partnership based on shared democratic values and increasing convergence on interest on bilateral, regional, and the global issues. So in my presentations, I have mentioned about from bilateral, regional, and the global. So, so India's increasing relationship with the US lies well for demonstrated by US strong disapproval of China's claim over India's territory on Arunachal Pradesh and and Northeast, and in the Northeast must be noted. So with that, I would like to stop my presentations, and this is overall. Hope it is really useful for you people to have an idea. For now, I am open to any comments and hopefully, as I said, I'm a little detached from my core area, as I said. So hope it has covered the relationship. So thank you so much, and thank you so much again. And if anyone has any comment or questions, yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Kaustav, for
Yes,
a very well, I should say, very comprehensive account of India-US relations, and also touching India's various issues,
yes.
particularly security and economic and democracy. So with that, I will open the house for question answer session, and I will ask the students to come up with questions. First, introduce yourself, put on your video, and ask question in a very clear and simple manner. Come on, be quick. Come on, don't delay our guest.
Good evening,
Come
sir.
on.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Myself,
Yes.
Vivek Mehra. I have completed my post-graduation from Pondicherry University in Politics and International Relations. Sir, I have a
Yes,
question on I have a question on Russia-Ukraine war. Sir,
yes.
what do you think about Russia-Ukraine war? Like, did USA lost a watershed movement to isolate China on international forum? Like what they did in 1979, they took advantage of USSR and China rift, and uh, they used China as a to counter USSR and communism world. So in this time, they have pushed Russia and they dragged into this war. So instead of dragging Russia into war, they can use against China on international forums. Sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Very, very interesting questions. Yeah, like I agree and disagree. If you see, the circumstances are different now, and that point of time, it was more like an ideological war. But now you see, like the communist ideology, it is not that relevant like now that at that point of time when you mentioned. And China also have uh, it embraced the market capitalism. So definitely, if we talk about ideology, and that will not apply. But yeah, of course, as I said during my presentation, the realism somehow, you are a student of international relations, so definitely realism is what the definition. It is all about struggle for power, and that always exists for United States, and so somehow China is used for that. So that's why I said I agree to you, and it has really, really used this. And with India also, uh, I also mentioned about that, like that a lot of conflicts or differences on this particular war. And yeah, that is somehow true, whatever you say. Yes, according to my observations. Maybe Dr. Gore want to add, or if anyone wants to add. Yes.
Yes. Next question. Come on, be quick. Next question. Come on. There must be many, many questions. Even though explanation has been very exhaustive, all aspects of the relationship have been discussed, but still there may be some doubts about various issues that confront India and the US. Come on, come on, be quick.
I think it's okay. I can maybe add a little bit more. Yeah, I think one person has a
Yeah, yeah.
yes question. Yes.
Thank you, Doctor. My name is Haitham Adam. I have one question.
Sure.
My question is, what is India expectation from the coming U.S. administration in regarding of talent competition?
Okay. Okay. Definitely. But
Thank
I think, yeah, that is very important. As I said, fortunately, India have good record with both the political parties of US. So apparently now yesterday actually I was reading that one article from an American expert. So even though you know the American voting system, so even president has the highest number of the votes, but the popular vote doesn't count, doesn't have. So even Kamala Harris may get popular votes, but most probably Trump may come to power. And so for Trump is a businessman and he needs business, and India is a market. India has always been a market for Trump. And like if you visit to Delhi and all big cities have Trump towers, it's a real estate, hotels, and it is somehow aligns with our current government, as I said, because they are also focusing a lot on infrastructure, like, lots and lot big infrastructure, roads, projects coming. For that, we need lot and lot of international investments. And cities like Hyderabad and Bangalore basically grew because of US interest. So I think definitely the expectations if Trump comes, more businesses with India, more defense ties, and also Trump hates China. Trump basically hates China, and like India now, the China is very negative. The as a country, as a neighbor, it's like I think after Pakistan, China is the most hated country in this. So there are certain common links like that. So definitely, if Trump comes, it may improve more the relationship. And as I said, our current government is also very business and market centric, and US is also a capitalist country, and also the more and more businesses will happen. Yeah, so businesses will create jobs and all. So one way of looking positive, and yeah, mixed views, to be honest. Yes.
Yes. Next question. Come on, be quick. Next question. Come on. Come on. Manju, are you there? So I think
Yes. I think,
yes,
yeah, we are. Yes, I think, but I
yes,
really enjoyed this
yeah.
particular talk. And I really congratulate you for this conducting this particular event. And like these are the students who are learning from us and from all over India and abroad. So thank you again for giving this opportunity, and all the best to all of you. And thank you so much, Dr. Gore, and for considering me
No,
for this
no.
particular.
Actually, let me thank you for sparing time. I know you are a busy person, uh,
No,
and
yes,
not only with the academics but also with the media studies
yeah,
and all that.
yeah,
So, with that and with your permission, I would like to close this session,
thank
and
you so
we hope to have you in future also whenever necessity
sure,
arises,
sure.
and you will not disappoint us. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you
Thank,
very much.
thank you.